Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rent at a time, and all I can say is she's back. Rachel Swanson's back with us. How you doing, Rachel?
Good, good. So happy to be here.
Yeah, your story, your introduction to the channel was amazing. I just love I love what you've done. Right, you took it was a hard pivot in 2020. Right, you were smooth sailing, pivot, 40 books, moved forward. It was an awesome story. But now I want to talk about kind of maybe what some people are thinking. Right, we shared you're married. I don't think we shared in the first episode. You have three children, so you're a mother of three.
I do.
Um, you took on this real estate challenge. You did a rooming house. You've done some repairs. How do you do it? I mean, did you find this magic day stretcher, or do you get 28 days in Texas and Californians get 24? How did you do it?
Yeah, no. So yes, I have three kids. I have twin boys who are 10 right now. My daughter's 9. So I smushed them all in. And truthfully, in the very beginning, it was really exhausting with them. Now that they're older, I feel like they're more, I don't know, it's easier in a lot of ways, as well as I feel like I can bring them into some of the things that we've
Hmm.
done as far as projects. And, we can bring them on to one of our projects that we're working on. So that's been kind of fun. And then, yeah, I've been married for 16 years, I think.
Whoa!
I'm so
what is this I think stuff?
But he's been the rock, man. If I didn't have his support, he's awesome. We do joke though, so we we're a bit good balance for each other. And I think that's what makes it work, because I'm very impulsive and he's indecisive. And so I'll go find the deals and I want to jump on it. He's the one that like runs the numbers. He's like, are you sure about that? Really makes me double check things. And so it's and then he's more the hands-on. He can, he's been able to fix up properties when we're local to them. And then I do a lot of the management stuff with tenants and all that kind of stuff. So but yeah, I think a lot of it is just focus. Like not that I have a great amount of focus. I think I just know what's most important and I just stick to those things. A lot of people think I'm constantly working though, and I'm really not. Like I have a lot of free time and I really make sure I have that time set aside, like, evenings for my kids. And yeah, sure, sometimes I get messages from tenants since I self-manage but it's typically not that much. I think the biggest thing is I have a lot of systems in place and that makes it so much easier. So having those systems makes it so that I don't have to do a whole lot of hands-on hand-holding for those properties.
That's very cool. Well, let's give your husband a shout out. What's his first name?
His name is Jeff. Yeah.
Jeff. Great job, Jeff.
He'll appreciate that.
Fun. There you go. Nice work, buddy. I guess the other things I want to talk about here, just a lot of, at least what I see out there is, again, in real estate world, it seems to be male dominated. That's why I love getting more and more females on the show, such as yourself. And it's really funny to hear you talk about it. It's kind of like our relationships are like opposite, right? Like my deal is to find deals, find capital. And then Olivia was my, hey, let's double check. She's definitely operations and I'm kind of deal finding. But like how often how did you get your husband on board? Let's talk about that first.
I don't know if I ever got him on board. I just started doing stuff.
You started doing, hey, sign these loan docs.
Kind of. I think with the accidental landlord, that softened him to the idea. I think if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have gotten on board as much. I also made him, I started reading out loud in the evening, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and helping them understand the idea of what this was. And so it takes him a little bit longer for things to soak in. Not that he just needs a lot more time to think. Like he's an analyzer and he'll analyze all the ways that like things can go wrong and what are the loopholes. But then once he started to realize, there is, there's a lot to, this is a great avenue. This is what does create wealth. This is going to be the solution to what we want in our life. And so I think now it's a lot easier because I've, in the last 2 years, there's been so much proof. Now. Yeah, I have proof and I have money coming in. I have cash flow. I have a business, I have my property management business. And so all of those are just proof that, okay, this really does work. And so now he's really ready to, help me and support me and go full steam with that kind of stuff. But
that's
awesome.
It took a
little bit of time.
Let's remind people of video number 1. accidental landlord, right? You moved to Idaho, wasn't your forever home. You found the next one. You wanted to move up, sell one, buy one, didn't work out. So you turned it into the rental and move forward. And you were making $1,500 a month, kind of, oops, look at what we did.
Yeah. And then, I mean, add to that, I mean, it was seriously the biggest blessing because 2 years later, we sold that house for was it $150,000 more
Oh, is
than
that
what we were
all?
trying to sell it for? I know. And so, we gained not only on that, and then with the new house we bought at a good time. And so, cause that was the end of 2019. And then obviously the market blew up. And so that actually became in 2021, we did a refinance and pulled money from our primary, which, it increased the monthly income or the monthly payments. However, we were getting way more, in cash flow from the rentals. And so again, you just pencil it all out. And when the numbers make sense, you just have to be like, okay, let's just go for it.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that a little bit because some people don't realize how just amazing that refis in 2021 were, right? So in 2019, your rate, you were owner occupant. So you were probably in the high fives, I'm guessing, 2019.
No, we were like in 3%. I want to say.
So you were
Maybe it was
3% in
4.
19?
Yeah, I want to say it was like, 2018, we actually, so when we sold our house in California, we bought cash, the first house, for like, I'll just even say numbers. I think it was like $263,000. And then, a year later, we were trying, we put some money into it. We probably remodeled and put, I don't know, I can't remember. I think like $40,000 or $50,000 into that, like with the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. And then we were trying to sell it for like 325, something like that. And it wasn't
weren't making
selling.
a lot of money. Yeah.
No, not a lot, but we were, ready. And then, so we were forced to hold on to it. So we held on to it and pulled some money from that to put down on our next house.
Makes sense.
And then that next one was 445,000, I think, that we bought. Within 2 years, it appraised for $769 or $65,000.
Yeah. Idaho was crazy.
Yeah. And then we just sold it for an equivalent of $965,000. So, location, you guys, location. It's all about location. So,
and then getting out, right? Some people stay too long.
Yeah. So that was the other thing. We just, there was a bit of luck with timing, I will be honest. But there's also just running your numbers and making sure that they make sense and then not over leveraging. We were always being really mindful of being careful not to over leverage ourselves. So
no alligators, right? We don't do that.
No alligators. We don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing I love about your story is, if you watch social media, you're always supposed to go bigger, right? You're supposed to have 100 doors, Rachel. Don't you know? You're supposed to have 100. And that's just not real.
Yeah, we're actually going opposite, probably in reverse right now, because I think we're scaling back, but we're putting more of the equity or more down onto properties. So there's all different strategies. And I think right now we're focused on like making sure we have a really solid base for our cash flow to cover our personal expenses and things like that, as well as keep enough in capital expenses for our properties. And then we have other funds that we're going to use and build. And that's more of our like pushing and working to leverage. And so I think for me and my husband and what we've agreed to, we want to be a little more careful about the market. And especially right now, we're being a lot more careful. So we want to not be over leveraged. So we're going to put a lot more down or even buy some outright that might need a little bit, some light fixing up, and we can do value add over the next couple of years. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I am curious, how often do you and your husband, Jeff, see, I remember, talk about money?
A lot, actually. We
now,
do.
Is that more or less since you got into real estate?
Definitely more, but I think, we always had a pretty healthy, we had pretty healthy conversations about money and finances from the very beginning. I tend to be the spender. He's the saver. So when we first got married, actually, we had some issues there. So we had to work that out. And he got me on board with like, oh, I really need to know where the cash is going.
What's a budget?
Yeah, what's a budget? Yeah. So that's where it kind of went into play. And now I feel like, we have, since it's been 16 years, we have that respect and we kind of have that understanding of where money's going and all that. But yeah, we do still have to talk about finances regularly. We are constantly, especially right now. I think when we're trying so hard, I mean, my husband still is in his W-2 job, and we're really working the next year to get him out of that. So
that's awesome.
that's what we're working towards, and that's our goal. And we do have a plan in place, and I'm pretty guaranteed that we're going to hit it. So,
Nice.
which is really exciting.
Well, that was where I was going to next, is kind of, you're in an interesting spot, right? You just went up and moved states. So was San Antonio brand new? Cause you went California, Idaho, San Antonio,
Texas.
Texas.
It's actually closer to Houston. So
okay.
It's between San Antonio and Houston.
But do you have family there, or is this just brand new spot you picked?
Yeah, no, I visited Texas a few times from speaking engagements, and I always just loved it. And then our big thing, for us is just our family lifestyle is we just really love the warmth and we love water. And if we can go boating more year round, which they have a lake here, this is the big thing. And you can do it like 9 or 10 months of the year. So for us, we just realized, as the kids are young enough to make a move, and, there was other factors as well, but we do have, my side of the family has mentioned possibly moving to Texas. So I'm seeing if I can
pull them over,
lasso them in. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. But where I was going, that it seems like you went up, moved stakes. So again, back to learning the market, right? What I always talk about, getting your buy box, doing the work. You have 3-4 months of just learning the area to do, I would guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I am always looking at other markets too. I mean, I'm looking at Florida and Indianapolis, and I've gone to Indianapolis, even flew there to check out, properties and such. And so I think in the future, I'd like to still invest out of state. I'm not afraid of it. We still have properties in Idaho. I have an assistant that's managing it somewhat from afar, as well as I do the management. So those don't really worry me. But yeah, so but if it's closer to home and it still makes sense and the numbers work, why not? Right.
Yeah, exactly. I am curious. You've talked about self-management a lot. Is that all you do, or are you a property manager to other investors, or
Yeah, I am actually. So I set up my company in 2021 in Idaho. And so I do have other properties I manage there for other clients. And so I just take a percentage and I take care of the tenants and any issues. And some of them like to have their handyman, that they call. And so I just have to call them and let them know if there's an issue. Others want me to take care of it. So it just depends. But that's also been huge because that alone has given me what looks like a even higher cash flow with the business. And it's enabled me to be able to take out like business lines of credit, things like that are, faster and with bigger amounts than other, then it's been a lot more helpful. Yeah. So if you're looking out at 2023, which is right around the corner, are you looking to add doors or units in Idaho? Or are you going to go from 0 to 100 in San Antonio or Houston? What's the plan? So I am planning on opening a property management business here, to doing more like short-term rentals in this area for Texas. And I do have to have, unfortunately though, the one thing I looked into, and maybe there's a loophole, I don't know, but it looks like you have to have a realtor license if you want to do property management in Texas. So you do have to double check different things. Idaho, honestly, your brother could do it. It was like, they didn't
anointed. You're a property manager.
Exactly. So here it's a little more of a stickler thing. So I am in the process of getting a license just to have that option, just to be able to do that for other people if I can. However, in Idaho, I still have the business running there. I have actually contractors calling me now because like new builds, they're wanting to rent them out because they're not selling. And so I am picking up some of those. However, I'm not trying to, I just have it out on Google, and that's it. So I'm not pushing that business to get more clients, but if they come to me and it makes sense, then I will take them. Yeah.
Well, so I have a pretty big audience. If somebody was in Idaho and had some units, what cities? I'm guessing not the whole state, but I'm guessing, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a smaller town about 40 minutes north of Idaho that doesn't have great property management, to be honest. And that's why, that's where we lived initially. And that's where I have most of my units. It's called Emmett.
Okay.
Emmett. And then I do have one in Caldwell, which is, and it's in the Boise, Idaho area. So any of those areas in the Boise, Idaho area would still work, but Emmett is the town I typically like to,
folks, if you're in Emmett, I know some of you are. I've actually heard that's a city I've heard of. So I know there's some people out there.
That's awesome.
In Emmett. There you go.
That's so cool.
And then let's remind folks, you are a best-selling author. So if somebody wanted to go check out, see what you've done on Amazon, it's just Rachel Swanson, or are you under a pen name?
Yeah, Rachel C. Swanson. Yeah, it's
Rachel
just that.
C.
Yeah.
Very cool. Rachel, thank
Apparently
you
there's
so
a lot
much.
of Rachel Swansons out there, so I had to go with the C.
You had to put the C in there. There you
Yeah.
go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.